that brought Jesus. And he was asking them to please look up. Can you stop just being focused around yourself? And while we speak about them, they have finished, they are gone. We are not necessarily different. Look at our own hearts. I am a pastor. I can tell you that one of the hardest things for a pastor to budget for is missions. You just look at, we need to do this. There's always projects, there are always things to do. But it looks like missions is on the side. It's tough. Some of the things I began to push so that missions can be encouraged looked strange when we began them. When salaries are being paid, stipends for workers every month, I say you must also remove something. We deliberately choose to support one or two missionaries laboring in difficult places outside Nigeria. You will have to be very deliberate about it. As churches, we say, look at our church. We have not sealed it. We have not rocked it. And there's no end to those things. I can imagine my Savior saying, look up. Look up. The truth is that if I'm waiting for things to be convenient for me before I can support missions, I'll never support missions. There will always be something. Brother, you're living in a rented apartment. Your heart will tell you, excuse me, you need to build a house of your own. All these things about landlord. The day you finish building, and then you visit Bro Bernard's house, you say, now, wow, I just went and built one small thing. The way my parlor is, I need to expand it. You will go there. I need to send my children abroad. You will go. I just discovered that there's never a time when it is very convenient to do God's work if you don't deliberately choose to do it, to lift up your eyes. My conclusion is that we are too fixated on ourselves. We're looking inwards, both as individuals and as churches. And Jesus is saying, but it was for these people that I came. Can you look up? That heart, we must get back to the place of prayer to say, Lord, cultivate in me the heart of a harvester. One that is desperate to harvest souls. It's painful to me that my brother died. But like my discipler said to me, Pic, be encouraged. He died doing what he loved best. He died in active service. The man led me to Christ. You can't remove the gospel from his mouth. In fact, we nicknamed him King James Version. He talks very little. If we are here and we are gisting, you will have seen him bring out his small Bible, complete Bible, and he'll be reading. I say, your own no pass King James Version. He will laugh. 2019, we were in London for my eldest brother's 70th birthday. And then we called Uber to go from the hotel where the event took place that night to get back home. As soon as we entered the Uber, he engaged the man with the gospel. I was saying in my heart, this man, now what for you? Even here, he couldn't be bothered. He engaged the man. When the man said, I'm a Muslim, I said, it doesn't matter. He engaged him with the gospel. The morning he died, he went for evangelism. The wife said, eat now. He said, I won't be long. Let me just go. When I come back, I'll eat. He drove himself to the church, parked in the church compound. They went. I think he had finished or something, then came back, entered the car to start driving back. He had not kicked the car. He just bent like this. And he left. He was met in the car like that. He went for evangelism. That was the last thing he did and left. So as it was paining me, I was saying, Lord, I wish I would be this committed to spreading the gospel. It was that commitment that made him share the gospel with me as his brother. And I gave my life to Christ. And he never got tired of doing so. Right from when I knew him, that when he repented in the early 70s, till he left. The kind of heart we are to carry is a heart that is insisting that what matters to Jesus must be given priority. Look up. Stop looking down. Look up. All the clothes you have. It's all right. It's all right. Sometimes I wonder the things that preoccupy us, whether they are really the things that matter. There are some that have clothes that for 1 year they've not worn them. You've not neared those ones. The truth is, do you really need them? If you have clothes that you wear once in 2 years, do you really need it? There are things to do. And everything you're struggling to acquire, sir, it takes very little time for it to be squandered. And there's none of it you're going to go with. I think we will need to pray some more to say, Lord, give me the heart of a harvester. He is not discriminatory. How could a Jew who will not even pass through Samaria spend 2 days in their midst? Excuse me, in those 2 days, were they not giving him food? He was eating food that was prepared by Samaritans. Where did he sleep? And if the whole community came and received the gospel, it means he interacted with them. And yet, we have this mindset. You're speaking in tongues, but the first question you ask your daughter, if she says, there's somebody that wants to marry him, say, where is he from? Is that the first thing? If you're a Yoruba man and your daughter says, his name is Ikechukwu. He's a Jokuda Mamomi. Ikechukwu ko. Ikechukwu ni. Didn't see Kunle. Didn't see Dakbo. Is Ikechukwu. The same thing. If you flip it on the other side. Ndofem manu. But the blood of Christ does not discriminate in those he washes clean. And we have become one in Christ. We need to have the kind of heart that Jesus has. Yesterday we began. And the question is, what are you seeing? Lift up your eyes so you can see. We are too focused down. Can you lift up your eyes? I want us to push further a little bit. And I will use a story that you know to illustrate it. As I kept thinking, I said, Lord, is that what you want to say to us? If you went to the market and you bought, okay, let's even say supermarket for those of you who go to supermarket, and you picked items, you selected items, or you just went to the market here. You say, bring me a bag of rice. bring this, bring toothpaste, bring that, bring all of that. And they calculated and they say your money is 150,000 and you paid fully. But they packed half of the items for you. And you went home. Is there any of you that will rejoice when you get home? Please talk to me. Will you rejoice? What are you likely going to do? He said, I need to rush back to the market. This man didn't pack, or the woman did not pack all that I paid for. I paid for this, that. They just gave me this few. Let me ask you, is Jesus collecting all that he paid for? Everything he paid for, is he collecting it? I'll read a few verses. Tell the story and then apply it, hopefully, in the time that we have. I kept sensing the Lord pointing me back again and again to that passage. In Judges chapter 15, you will permit me to read from verse 1. Judges 15, verse 1, and I'll read from the Authorized Version. That's King James. But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid, and he said, I will go in to my wife into the chamber, but her father will not suffer him to go in. And her father said, I verily thought that thou hast utterly hated her, therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. And Samson said concerning them, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. Some translations will say, though I do them harm. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes and took firebrands and turned tail to tail and put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the brands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and olives. Then the Philistines said, who has done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire. And Samson said unto them, though you have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. Then he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock Etam. The word of the Lord. You know the story, so I'll just summarize it. Samson wanted to marry. He saw a girl he liked, and he said to the parents, get her for me, she pleases me well. They raised objection. They said she's not from our place. He said, but that's the one I want, and all of that. So they followed him. He did all of that. Samson was even harassed by a lion. Still, for the sake of this girl, rather than not get her, he killed the lion. And he went. How he convinced his parents to go with him remains to be conjectured, because they raised objection. And then they eventually were able to follow him. It means that he was able to convince them. He did all of that. You know that if it's in our contemporary time, marrying from an ethnic orientation, an ethnic group different from your own, has its own challenges. Number one is that while they collect, what they may collect from you may be higher than what they normally will collect from when it's them, if you understand what I mean. Am I correct? They will follow you. And if you're going to marry a Yoruba girl, God help you. Because the yams they will ask you to bring is not this kind of small yams. And they will say fruit, banana. You don't go and buy some miserable bananas. You will get correct bananas that are almost looking like tubers of yam. All of that. I'm prepared to lie down 10 times. You will need to do all of that. Why are you doing all of that? Because you're looking for a wife. Samson did all of it. That's after you have found courage to speak to the girl. You know, for many men, we are doing gra. Sometimes when it gets to that matter, even a very eloquent brother may become a stammerer. He says, sister, I would like to see you after service. And after service, bro is doing like this. And sister says, excuse me, bro. You say you wanted to see me. He said, yes, actually. You know, in short, furthermore, anyhow. Say, bro, I hope you had your quiet time. That's not what originally intended to say. It was not quiet time you wanted to ask her. So you need to find courage after praying to be able to say, I want to marry you. Samson did all of that. He did the proposal. Maybe waited for a reply. Some sisters will say, okay, let me pray about it. Some pray. There are some who really don't pray. The prayer they are praying is, guess who proposed? She'll go and talk to her friends. Say, John in the fellowship. He's not that brother that is always wearing, only 2 shirts I've known him with. He says, Sister Simio. Some people don't know their mates. So. Who is your own mate? Samson went through all of that. And this girl agreed. And they paid bride price. And he went for wedding. And something happened. You know the story. And Samson went away. But it came to pass, a while after, it was in the time of the wheat harvest. It came to the time of harvest. No matter how a man is misbehaving, he recognizes that there's a time of harvest. When he begins to look for everything he sowed to see, did it germinate? Did it produce? I need to get something out of my investment. Sir, there's a time of harvest. If all your life what you're concerned about is God, build house for me, buy clothes for me, buy car for me, do this for me, do that for me, a time will come, heaven will demand a harvest from your life. You cannot be consuming kingdom manure without commensurate production. You remember Jesus told us a story. That owner came and said, for 3 years, I have been looking at this tree, looking for fruit, but I don't find anything. Cut it down. In King James Version, he said, why cumbereth it the soil? I would have loved to ask you, why are you cumbering kingdom soil without any production? I don't want to embarrass anybody now. I would have asked us to stand up. If you have led someone to Christ in the last 3 months, me personally, I tried to check. If after a reasonable length of time, there's nobody I'm following up who has come to know Christ through my personal witness, I begin to ask, Brother Pic, are you alive? The reason I ask that is because even the elementary biology that I did, I know I have to be very careful in talking about biology when Bernard and his wife are here. Biology. But they told us the characteristics of living things. Abi? And they gave us an acronym, Mr. Niger D. M for movement and all of that. But you remember that there's an R there that stands for what? Reproduction. Every living thing reproduces after its kind. So no matter how much tongues you're speaking, if you are not reproducing other believers, I don't care how much you think, how much spiritual you think you are dead. Every living thing will reproduce its kind. Are you reproducing? You can go on and on and on and on and on, but there's a time of wheat harvest. Ecclesiastes told us that there's a time for everything, a time to plant and a time to harvest. So it was in the time of wheat harvest. Samson said, I made an investment somewhere. No matter what happened, I need to go back there. Sir, grace has been lavished on you. You have been born again by the mercies of God. If heaven returns to inspect your life, in the time of harvest, will there be any dividend from your life? Will there be any harvest from your life? Even the ones you didn't go out for, you're conversed by biological evangelism. Are you raising them well for the kingdom? Sometimes heaven will send converts to us or disciples to us in disguise. You call them house helps or those who come to live in your house. But those are opportunities for you to raise kingdom warriors for Jesus. But many times we blow it. Every mistake that girl makes, you will remind her how miserable. In fact, I just took you from the village to help you. I will send you back to your miserable parents, uncle, auntie. If Jesus didn't save you, will you also not have been miserable? And we forget that those are souls that heaven could have brought before us. It's like they are trapped. And the master is saying, rise, kill and eat. Strike this one with the gospel. But we miss those opportunities. There's a time of harvest. And every one of us will come to this point. Even as a teacher, for a whole semester in the university, you're teaching a course. Some people may not be very careful. But there's a time of harvest. Exams will come. There was a course I was teaching last semester. I was teaching ethics. And there was no time I went to class that I think we were up to more than 60. Suddenly I said they were going to write a test as part of the continuous assessment. And I entered the class we normally use. There was no space. They were all seated, and as many as were seated, you had that same number standing or more than. I said, what? Are we up to like this? I had to look for, we flew into 2 classrooms, 2 large halls to accommodate us. Because they were almost hitting 200. There was certainly more than 160. I said, what? Are we this many? The only thing that drew them was the test. Because I had come to the time of harvest. Sir, there will be a time of harvest where heaven will inspect your life. And then that girl annoyed me. That young boy, he says, heaven say, but a price was paid for him and we sent him to you. Look at Samson. His wife offended him. That's why he left. But there's a time of harvest. Whatever the excuse was no longer tenable. When it was time of harvest, Samson had to remember that by divine resources, an investment had been made somewhere. He paid bride price on someone. So he went back. He said, I came to visit my wife. And the truth is that he had a legitimate right to visit his wife. And the Bible says her father did not allow him. We will not allow him going. Say, what's the matter? Cool down now, you have just come. Let's fellowship small. He said, it was not you that I came to see. I came to see my wife. What fellowship again are we having? I've greeted you. Can I go to my wife's room? In fact, did she not hear my voice? I expected that she should have come out. Then the man started a long story. You see, what I mean to say is that actually, we thought, the final analysis, uncle, what are you analyzing? He said, I thought you hated her. So, we gave her out to your friend, to another man. You don't understand what I'm dealing with. May God grant us understanding. Listen. A woman, young girl, grew to the age of marriage, became robust, having been nurtured, and became attractive to men. That Samson saw her, desired her. She's been nourished. And Samson looked forward to his first night, perhaps, with his wife, most probably a virgin. But he couldn't just pounce on her. He had to first woo her. He had to now, when he succeeded, now ask her to take him to the parents. And you know that no matter how courageous you are, the first day you're going to meet your in-laws, you'll be tampered. Your heart go beat small. Will they accept me? On both sides. Samson went through all of that. They gave him list. He paid. He brought his parents. There was nothing that was required to be done that Samson did not do. And he finished all of that and married her properly. And you wake up and tell me that a man who didn't propose, you're not understanding what I'm talking about. Are you following me at all? You're not talking now. You know I'm a teacher. Are you following me? A man who did not propose, a man who didn't woo her, a man who didn't pay bride price. Forget that this man is my friend though. If we were unbelievers, as he say my friend, and he sees me near his wife, I'm doing, sister, how are you? How are you? You say, Pic. What's the meaning of that? You know why? He's the one who paid. He feels he has a right, and he correctly has a right. Do you mean that I finished all of these things and you carried her to give to a man who didn't pay? A man who didn't woo her is enjoying her. Her attention her love, her warmth is being enjoyed by the man who paid nothing, who didn't contribute anything. They just called him to say, be best man. You don't call a best man until you are found. You don't say, come and be best man. I'm going to where they say, who is the girl? I have not found her. They will think you're mad. You must have finished all the hard work, and then you tell your friend, you'll be my best man. He say, who are you marrying? He says, so person. Because you have finished it. But here was a man who did not do anything, enjoying that. I know you're looking at me and say, Brother Pic, so what? What's the meaning of this now? Yes, it has relevance for us. Do you know that every person you meet on the street who is not born again was paid for by Christ? Do you know that he paid fully for all those people you passed? That girl in your house that is not born again, Jesus paid for her. That your relation that is not born again is a bride whose bride price, so to say, was fully settled by Christ. He so paid fully that at the cross he said, it is finished. He paid everything. But all the people he paid for, some of them, their attention is being enjoyed by Malam Iblis, the enemy of our souls, who contributed nothing. There are people using their intelligence to deceive people, to work for the devil and hoodwink people. That intelligence was not given by the devil. It was paid for by Christ. But who is using the intelligence is the devil. The scammers, the people who will hack accounts, highly intelligent people. They are working for the devil. But that intelligence was not given by Christ, by the devil. It was given by Christ. But the one who paid for their lives is not enjoying their services. They are strangers to his holiness. And yet, he paid fully for them. I hear heaven asking you again, look up and see. Is every person that Jesus paid for, has he collected them? Are they the ones? Is everyone he paid for the ones he's enjoying fellowship with? Some of the people he paid for are not in fellowship with him at all. Some of the people he paid for are distant from him. And you and I know the heart of our master. We cannot be comfortable in the face of that. Samson said, Baba, can you repeat what you said? Because this ear heard it, but this one did not hear it. That's how they talk in my place. He said, one ear heard, but the other one has not heard. Can you repeat what you said? When something is serious and you're saying what the man has heard, oh, but he thinks that, are you serious? He will say, please, breaker, can you say it? Because this ear heard it, but this one has not heard it. He said, Baba, can you say it again? He said, you know what I'm trying to say is that I verily thought that thou utterly hated her. Therefore, I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Go and take her. Do you think that Samson didn't see her younger sister before he chose her? Sir, Jesus is very deliberate. It's not that he didn't have things to do. Love for us compelled him to come. When we don't look up, we are unable to see that there are many people that Jesus paid for, but he's not enjoying fellowship with them. They are not in his fold. Somebody else is being ravished with their love. Somebody else is touching them. Somebody else is harnessing their intelligence. Somebody else is using them for what they were not created for. Meanwhile, Jesus paid. Samson said, Look at what his reaction was. Verse 3. And Samson said, please, if you are having some more recent translations, you're going to read that verse 3 for me. But let me read it again in King James. And Samson said concerning them, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. Who is carrying another translation to read for me? If you have Message, if you have Good News, if you have ESV. Nobody is carrying another. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Which one are you reading for me? ESV. Can we hear that verse?
Verse 3. It says, and Samson said to them, This time I shall be innocent in regard to the Philistines when I do them harm.
I will be innocent as regards the Philistines. When I do what? When I do them harm. Samson had already decided that he's going to harm them. Who is carrying another one? Yes, sir. Which one is that? Message.
Samson said, that does it. This time, when I wreak havoc on the Philistines, I'm blameless.
Are you following him? He said, this time, when I wreak havoc on the Philistines, I shall be what? Nobody go blame me. Now you take your hand, find out. Any other translation you want to read from? Yes, sister.
Samson said, this time I'm not going to be responsible for what I do to the Philistines.
No home you. Now then look for my trouble. Sister, it's the same translation. Sir? New Living, yes.
Samson said, this time I cannot be blamed for everything I'm going to do to you Philistines.
I go do now something and nobody can blame me. Did you hear the way? Is it different?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Which translation?
This one is New Living Translation.
Okay.
Because you did this, Samson vowed, I will take my revenge on you, and I won't stop until I am satisfied.
You did see Samson. But you know, he gave me an insight. Samson said, whatever I decide to do now, even though I'm harming you, I am blameless. You know, in my own heart, my understanding, I'm saying, whatever I do to harm the kingdom of the devil, concerning souls that Jesus paid for, whatever legitimately I do to harvest them, even though it is harm to the kingdom of darkness, heaven declares me blameless. Heaven declares me innocent. Uncle Fred, you are a firstborn, first son. You carry yourself, say they go mission. You know, say we go build house. Where money now? Go build upstairs for our village. Oh. Heaven says, Pic, you are the one talking like that. As far as heaven is concerned, what is he? Blameless. Blameless. Did you choose to fast to rescue a soul? What does heaven say concerning it? You're blameless. If you hold vigil to scatter the holes of the enemy over souls, and you're scattering them like this and scattering them like this, heaven says, my daughter is what? Blameless. Every sacrifice you make in order to rescue souls, heaven says, blameless. Blameless. It reminds me of David that just brought food for his brothers and heard the Philistine, Goliath, blaspheming and talking rubbish as far as David was concerned. And he was asking, say, excuse me, who is this? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that is harassing the... They say, have you seen this man? It's certainly to defy Israel has he come. All of us are afraid. We are running away. And the king has even promised that such and such will be done for him. And he was talking. David said, what? What? Then Eliab, his brother, began to reprimand him. Why did you come? Hey, what's your business here? And David asked one simple question. He said, is there not a cause? Eliab, check, brother, check around. Is there no reason for what I'm doing now? Should you not have reason over this situation? Is there not a cause? Do we not have sufficient reason to rise up against the wiles of the enemy concerning the souls that Jesus has paid fully for? But the devil is the one enjoying the attention, enjoying the affection, enjoying the intelligence, enjoying the love. Why should we be satisfied that young people are sitting down and instead of using the intelligence to serve Christ, they are using it to hoodwink people? They are using it to steal. They are using it for all kinds of... Oh my goodness. I looked at one young man, very promising, the only son of the parents. There are two. He has a sister, but he's the only boy. And in Africa what that means. They're just waiting for him to graduate. Just get something small, they will bring to marry, so that our compound will not become the only son. But he was in the University of Jos. What was he doing? He was a cultist. He was the hitman, the one that pulls the trigger. And I don't know how God arranged, and we met. The other miracle is that he opened up. So this is who I am. And in my heart, I felt say, Pic, be careful. Be careful. But Jesus paid for him. It was a risk. And I began to talk to him. He got born again. To disciple him was a matter. Because even you're not safe for what you're doing with me now. I looked at it, but is there not a cause? It can be costly. And I prayed. There were a few times I was afraid in my heart. I said, Lord, now your work, but you also paid for this one. And we persisted. And he left the court. I don't want to unveil some of the things because very sensitive. Well, God is wonderful. But it got to the point that even security agencies had to question me over that soul. It went as far as army headquarters. You can say, Brother Pic, why take this risk? Excuse me. Jesus paid for it. I shall be blameless if I harm the Philistines on account of a wife that Jesus paid for completely. Samson said, I'm blameless. I'm blameless. I'm not asking you to deliberately put yourself in harm's way. But every legitimate thing you do under God to save a soul, you're blameless. Men may say, is your own not too much? Your own is not too much. In fact, it was from that young man that I got to know that, there's nothing Jesus is asking me to, no sacrifice he's asking me to pay that the devil does not demand more than double from those who serve him. Because when he began to tell me the initiation rite. I said, no wonder they are ruthless. He says, let me just describe for you the last rite. Say they will, I don't know, in the middle of nowhere, they will cross rivers and go in the jungle, middle of nowhere. They will take them there in the night. Every person to be initiated will have one coffin. Say, and you will lie down inside the coffin and face up for the last initiation rite. I say, inside the coffin? He said, yes, sir. I said, for how many hours? He laughed. He says, sir, hours? He said, 7 days. You're lying in that coffin. I said, no, you don't mean it. If you want to urinate in court, he said, you do it there. I said, if you want to poo in court, he said, you do it there. I said, if you stand up on court, he said, you're finished, you're dead. I said, what? Rain is falling on you're dead. No wonder when they come out, they are not like human beings. And I say, did Jesus demand this kind of thing from me? What is Jesus asking you to do that the devil is not demanding more than double from those who serve him? And they gladly do so. I said, wow. Wow. There are those who will have fellowship with demons. They will give them a specific time. They must not go near a woman. They must not go near food. Just to have fellowship with demons. And they think that they are doing something. And when they come out, I used to have one relation who was into these kind of things. In fact, it was so wicked that even wicked people will tell you that this man is wicked. Say, who is talking to you? Bring water. Put in calabash. Say, call his name here. They're doing wicked things. Anytime I visit home, they say, don't go near him. Oh. Don't let him know where you're going. I will go and greet him. I say, if I'm going, let him go and stand on the way. I will run over him. When he sees me, he will start praying. He say, nothing will happen to you. Hey, God will bless you. You know God. I say, you will join us. He said, no. All of us cannot be like you. How can you get to a land and you will not see a lizard? That was what he said to me. There must be a lizard in every land. I said, but God wants you. But do you know that man repented? One day they called me. The daughter called me and was screaming. He said, brother, it has happened. It has happened. I said, when father, I thought he had died. He said, my father has repented. I went home. You don't know, the thing was, he made news. I went home. When he saw me, he said, it's only Jesus I know now. Tears came to my eye. He brought out all of those things. Told the pastor to burn everything. Even the hut, the chambers where he does all of this, he broke it down. Say, we follow Jesus. And you know, not too long after that, he died. But he cheated death. He cheated hell. So some things may look dangerous for us. Why are you doing that? Excuse me, Jesus paid. Fully. That's why we could take that risk. Thank God that young man is standing in the faith. Because I'm blameless. You call it a risk. Heaven say you're blameless. I repeat, I'm not asking you to deliberately put yourself in harm's way. But let's follow the Lord. And if it be that we will be, putting ourselves in danger, if God so allows it, but to save a soul, heaven still declares you what? Blameless. Blameless. It's men that will be saying it. You know, sometimes when I look at, and we say, why should people be doing like that? As if they miss out. If you choose to follow Christ, you will miss out on the good things of life. It's not true. It's not true. So Samson said, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. And he went and caught 300 foxes, and you know the rest, and set them on fire to burn up both the shocks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and olives of the Philistines. Even their stay, even their means of survival, Samson burnt it down. Sir, I sense that that's the kind of thing heaven wants us to do. If only you will lift up your eyes and see, you will know that there are people Jesus paid for that he's not enjoying. And you and I must rise up to harm the Philistines in order to rescue these people. In order to rescue them. Sometimes somebody gets born again and the relations or the parents are saying, hey, why did you're confusing our son? You're confusing our daughter. It's not confusing. They may react like that. Heaven says you're blameless. I don't know what you're seeing. Remember what God began to say to us in the morning. The heart of the harvester. A harvester is not at ease. Wait, excuse me, if you're a farmer, can you watch when your labors, you have farmed, you have done everything, it's time for harvest, and it's ready, and you're just sitting there and you're watching, it's not being harvested, and it's spoiling, and it's getting rotten, and it's just wasting. Who will be happy about that? It's like your labor is in vain. I hear God saying to us this morning, we must rise up. We must rise up to do something. I don't know the 300 foxes you're going to catch now. That we need to burn up the fields of the Philistines. But you need to catch fire yourself. For the things that need be done in order for souls to be rescued. This morning, as I tie up, I want to say to you that there's a need for us not just to look up, but to get into action now. If you look up, you can see, like David was asking Eliab, is there not a reason? Is there not a cause? Eliab, you should have even been the one doing this. There's a reason to face this man. He wants to disgrace the God of Israel. There's a reason. We must rise up and confront him. Eliab, there's a cause. There's a reason. Eliab didn't see it. David saw it. And he did something. And God gave him victory. If you will look up and see all that have been paid for by the blood of Jesus Christ, our Savior, and yet he's not enjoying them. Do you know that the prostitutes you come across were paid for by Christ? It's the same gospel that saved you that can save them. Prostitutes. I have watched this gospel. In fact, sometimes I say, Lord Jesus, you have a sense of humor. You know, when you're saying it, sometimes it looks weak. You're just saying, God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You see, because you say it, sometimes you just rattle it through. You don't know the efficacy, you don't know the power that is in what you're saying. And yet I've watched those weak words and somebody say, okay, I want to give my life to Christ. And I'm saying, but what did I say? And you're watching the gospel transform such a life. You know, the young man I was telling you, I was watching a hardened man. A hardened young man transformed by the gospel. The one I was telling you yesterday, the girl that was huge like this. You know, some months after, is it up to 1 year or so, she had gone for youth service and came back. She called me one day crying. I said, what is it? She said, my stepmom, just look at what she's doing to me. Oh no, Daddy, I don't like it. And then she started crying. She was crying. I didn't know when I busted out laughing. I was laughing. She said, Daddy, I'm telling you a serious thing, you're laughing. Do you know why I was laughing? So I called her by name. I don't want to call her name. She answered. I say, you. Crying for somebody. I said, Jesus can do something. Before Jesus saved that girl, who is that stepmom? Who is that person? She will lift you up. When she's lifting you up, you'll be singing, lifted, I am lifted. And as she's using you to wipe ground, you'll be singing, coming down, down, down. But Jesus had thoroughly washed her clean. And she had become malleable, become so soft. Whatever God used me to do, as far as heaven was concerned, concerning that life, I am what? Blameless. You see, you're removing our people from this thing. We are. Heaven says blameless. And it didn't start today. There's been a time that they gathered with clubs that they were going to deal with me in one school where I was. Because they first said all our girlfriends are repenting and you are the one who is responsible. And this one says, I no do again. This one says, I no do again. Because the Lord, a revival broke out upon us in that environment. They thought I was a troublemaker. Heaven says what? Blameless. This morning, I want to ask you, would you want to take steps to do all that you can to ensure that all the brides within your vicinity, within your sphere of influence, you cannot save the entire world, you're not Christ, but there are people he paid for around you, that he has brought around you. Will you not take a decision and say, all that are within my sphere of influence that Jesus paid for, I shall do everything possible to rescue them. And whatever harm I bring to the kingdom of darkness, heaven will declare me blameless. Heaven will declare me innocent for what I'm doing. But I will do it so that these souls can be rescued. So that these souls can be saved. Don't attend the LDG this year again and go away with a heart that is comfortable, that God is providing things for you. You're looking down. These people went to buy food. The disciples went, they got food. There was food to eat. In fact, when they came back, they said, Jesus, as if they're saying, leave this matter. Come and eat first. Enjoy yourself. You go there, put something. But Jesus said, no. There's a food I need to eat. Very soon now, the whole town, they are going to come now. I don't have time to eat. I need to face them now, for they must hear the gospel. I can hear heaven saying, you're blameless. There may be hunger in your stomach, or you're blameless. What you're doing here, you're blameless. Sometimes it looks like risk. I close with a story. In the height of Boko Haram, I shall veil some things. Some brethren in Borno State, in a particular community, reached out to me and said, we want to have revival. Please come. In Borno State. All the disciples say, sir, you can't go. You can't go. This one, you go to everywhere, but this one is suicide. It's a suicide mission. You can't go. I said, what? When I knelt down to pray, the Lord asked me a question. He said, those my children in that place on the front line, do they not also need encouragement? I said, they need, sir. He said, so go and encourage them. It was no fun. I went with one disciple, only one person. We went. It was not funny. No communication. That time they bought all this. So for 5 days or so, 4 days, we were in that place. Even if something happened, you don't even know where I am. I can't reach my wife. Nobody could reach me. And the night before I was to finish, Saturday night, we were to finish on Sunday, Boko Haram struck. They killed people. Close by. I was thinking that, I said, God, not be to find opportunity to escape. I said, Kuma, that man, nobody will be in church. Sir, woke up in the morning, I just said, okay, let's go to church. At least if we reach there with what has happened, there will be nobody. We can say, brethren, you see, how can we escape? By the time I got to church, the church was full. You see, when you talk about heroes of faith, it's not those of us who stand here and say, hey. For me, those are the true heroes of faith. Nobody may write their names anywhere. You mean you can face this kind of thing Saturday night, Sunday morning? You are in church, as if they are saying, if we perish, we perish. You are the one who said they are taking a risk. As far as heaven was concerned, they are what? They are blameless. Sir, this morning, I just want to make one call, and I'll ask Uncle Fred to pray for us. Is there anybody who will say, I didn't see it like this? Lord, I just want to ask for grace for me to become deliberate about anybody you paid for around me that has been given to a companion who didn't pay their bride price, who didn't do anything to save them, but he's the one enjoying them. Lord, help me to do whatever I can to harm the Philistines and rescue that soul. But Lord, I need grace. If that's your prayer, I will ask you to stand up as we sing that song. It's between you and God. I don't know what God may ask you to do. But do you want to become deliberate in the rescue of souls? Deliberate in ensuring that every person Jesus paid for, that heaven will collect that dividend, as it were. Then you will stand up saying, I will make my life your dwelling place. I will build your throne in my heart. Come, Father, come, Son, come, Holy Spirit, come and take your place in my life. I will make Uncle Fred, my life your dwelling. If you're standing, you will stand. I will